he will be the man in the Oval Office providing that advice and really, in many ways, curating what gets to his desk from the cabinet officials. We want to talk to Waltz about this really complex environment. Most immediately, you have the question of who's going to implement and oversee this incredibly complex ceasefire and hostage deal that could see some hostages coming out as soon as Sunday into Monday. Which official diplomats with deep regional knowledge will take over from Brett McGurk and the CIA director? We want to talk to him about China. Why did President Trump invite Xi Jinping, who just is now sending his vice president to the inauguration, an inauguration at which the CEO of TikTok will be an honored guest?
How will the first 4 weeks of Trump 2 differ from Mattis, Kelly, McMaster, and others in the first term? To me, there's a radical set of different people, with Mike Waltz being one of the few common features of what we saw 8 years ago.
It will be different, and we are already getting a sense of that, in part because we don't have people who are completely without clue as to how government works, right? Donald Trump is bringing with him staff who
wait, Margaret, stop. Damian, do you see how diplomatic Ms. Brennan is?
It was lovely.
Compared to me.
That's a
Margaret, please continue.
No, but so that's where the sort of learning the process, some of his advisors who don't require Senate confirmation may be able to offset some of those who do. We know Mattis had such experience both on the battlefield in terms of dust on his boots. Pete Hegseth, I think, tried to get people to forget that Mattis was actually a general and the first Secretary of Defense in the Trump administration when he claimed he'd be a new set of blood with a completely different perspective. We will see a bunch of cabinet officials who might not have ever been up for a job like this had Donald Trump not be president of the United States.
Damian, jump in here and save Margaret Brennan.
Yeah, would you?
Margaret, you mentioned Mike Waltz, and I remember Mike Waltz because he boycotted the 22 Beijing Olympics, the Winter Olympics, right? So another notorious China hawk, and there's so many of them in this administration. And, now we're hearing all this news about Tencent's been added to the list of China military firms, export controls on rare earths. China's preventing Apple and BYD from shifting production across Asia this morning. So talk to us about this Cold War that's sort of lingering in the background here in the minds of America and China. I mean, how do we get through this? What comes next?
It's the big question. I mean, you have Marco Rubio, who could be the next Secretary of State, who's actually sanctioned in China. Does that mean he could ever travel there? You have, yes, China hawks, but this is not a very hawkish first approach on day one to be asking Xi Jinping to send his best representative to Washington and to be embracing TikTok the way Donald Trump now is and reversing his past position.